Hello. This video is an introduction to some of the key issues for pronunciation in English as a lingua franca contexts. But what are English as a lingua franca contexts? English has unquestionably become the language of science and intercultural communication. The vast majority of this communication takes place between speakers for whom English is their second language. These are what we call English as a lingua franca contexts. And they have implications for both native and non-native speakers. On the one hand, native speakers, you need to be able to adapt and make yourself understood to international audiences. This could mean avoiding highly colloquial expressions, slowing down your usual rate of speech, or rephrasing some things in simple terms. On the other hand, for non-native speakers and learners of English, this means that the goal is no longer to sound exactly like a native speaker. Everyone has an accent, and the aim is not to eliminate all traces of your accent, but again, to make yourself understood in international contexts. So if the aim is not to perfectly imitate a native speaker, what is your aim in terms of pronunciation? Linguists talk about comfortable intelligibility. When you speak, it should be comfortable for your listener to listen to you. They should not have to strain or make an unreasonable effort to understand you. You should also feel comfortable speaking, so you should aim to be intelligible or understandable. To achieve this objective, there are some features of pronunciation that matter more than others, and they can be divided into 3 levels. Level 1 is sounds. Level 2 is words. And level 3 is speech. Let's have a look at each of these levels in more detail. Let's start with level 1, sounds. For many speakers, one of the main problems with English is vowel sounds. So, for example, E, I, etc. Confusing some sounds can lead to misunderstandings. For example, do you mean beer or bear? Is that a sheep you can see or a ship? It's good to be aware of these potential misunderstandings. Let's look at level 2, words. Now, one of the main difficulties for English is syllable stress. You may know that long words in English have one syllable that is louder and bigger than the other syllables. For example, in this word, computer, pew is louder and bigger than the other syllables. And this is a particular feature of English, as not all languages have this. In French, for example, all the syllables are sounded equally. And this is particularly important for transparent words, which often look very similar to words in other languages, but sound very different. Let's take an example. Here you can see that the name of this disease in these 3 languages looks very similar, but have a listen. Meningitis, meningitis, meningite. This difference between what you see and what you hear means that you might not understand a word when you hear it, and people may not understand the word if you say it incorrectly. If you're a native speaker, this is also good to know, as it may be the reason why your listener doesn't understand you when you say a particular word that you think they should understand. So it could be helpful to write the word down or have it on your slides. Now, for both levels 1 and 2, there are easy ways to check if your pronunciation is intelligible. You can use pronouncing dictionaries like howdoyousay.com, forvo.com, or youglish.com. On these websites, you can enter a word and listen to it spoken by real people. Again, You should pay particular attention to those transparent words, like this one, and always check them. Listen carefully to the sounds, to the vowels, and listen carefully to the syllable stress. We've seen level 1 and 2. Let's now have a look at level 3. Level 3 is harder and longer to achieve. Level 3 is speech, connected speech. What matters when you speak for a long turn? One thing to think about is prosody. Prosody is the music and the rhythm of your speech. Each language has its own music and rhythm, and we may produce the music and rhythm of our own language, of our first language, when we speak in English. Again, the objective is not to eliminate your accent, but this can be a problem when you are speaking for a long turn, like at a conference, for example. If the transfer of the music and rhythm from another language is too strong, it can have an impact on the comfortable intelligibility. And in these cases, your audience might start to switch off. When people in the audience say, "I had a hard time following his accent," it's often because of this transfer of prosody. What can you do to work on this? One thing you can do is a technique known as shadowing. It is a type of pronunciation training. This technique consists in listening to an effective communicator of English and repeating what they say and how they say it. You can find examples of effective communicators by listening to TED Talks at TED.com or visiting seriousscience.org, where you can hear scientists talking about their work. Both these websites include the transcripts of the videos that you'll need. So how does it work? Well, the first thing you need to do is to select a small extract of the talk that you wish to shadow. And then shadowing is a 3-step process. Start by reading the paragraph to yourself and thinking about how you would say it. Read it out loud to yourself. Then, listen to the video. Listen to the speaker. Pay attention to the music of their voice. Where does their voice go up and down? Finally, listen again, but this time repeat. You can pause the video at natural pauses. As soon as you press pause, repeat what you have heard, trying to capture the music and rhythm the speaker used. You can record the whole thing using your smartphone so that you can compare yourself to the original speaker afterwards. So that's shadowing. I hope that this video has made you aware of some of the key issues for English as a lingua franca pronunciation, and that it's given you some tips and techniques for achieving comfortable intelligibility. Bye-bye.